Time mastery is not controlling time. It's becoming so coherent on the inside with your vision and your identity and your body and movement that the felt distance between the current reality and the desired reality shortens. Morphic fields, number 6, accelerate embodiment. What's a morphic field? Morphogenic field, morphic field. The term describes something. It's the collective fields of information, memory, and consciousness. And that is for anybody who has stepped into something, a place that other cultures would call sacred. We might ourselves call it sacred. We understand that a morphic field can be very different from the area that we get into. A morphic field is not necessarily a space, as in like ground, earth, soil, a building, etc., but it's also culture. So people together create morphic fields. And what the time bending acceleration trick, hack, to use all these fancy words here, is to get yourself into those consciousness fields where your desired intention already exists. Because what happens there is very simple. It's embodiment. This is not woo-woo. It's just that you see how people walk and talk and move there, and you can start to copy it. In the framework, in the core of more life, stage 2.5, where you look for somebody who is embodying, you look for role models and you copy them, and you do that. And the more you are in fields, in areas of your life where people behave like they already live that dream that you're having, the faster you will subconsciously copy it, because this is what the body does. Our mind is our brains are, that's what neuroplasticity describes. So this is not some woo metaphor for fancy, I don't know, energetic stuff. I'm not devaluing that, but I want to ground it in it's simply copying trackable behavior when it comes to people. And the question here is, if you are currently in spaces, in fields that do not align, where people are not living your intention, they're living less of what you have already embodied, you need to get yourself out of this, because your automatism will copy their behavior, which is less alive than yours. Very simple. So question for you, what is one field I want to let go of? What is the one field where I'm taking myself out of this? And what is the one field I want to get access to now? And just as a side note, something that I've been looking at lately, if you are in a field and you get access, you put yourself into that room, very simply. Don't just put yourself in there, but become active in there. That is the super accelerator, because you're not just watching, but you're behaving, and that might be super uncomfortable at the beginning, because you might feel insecure and clumsy. But if you just try a little bit. Put yourself into a room where you feel totally stretched, and then try a little bit participating. You will grow into it, and don't give up going there. If you play a room, not just access it, really put yourself in there and start to play it. Number 7, reality shifts through resonance and not force. So all the pushing and hustling is not coherence. We can become the of course frequency. The of course frequency is, why is this happening to me? Of course, because why wouldn't it? I'm used to it. This is my reality. Whatever your of course is, look around. That's your of course. That's of course frequency. And we do not get more of course frequency by pushing harder. But we need to become the magnet. We stay precise, but not forceful. So speed doesn't come from pressure. Speed comes from coherence. And coherence is being lost when you get tired. Coherence is lost when you're exhausted. Coherence is lost when your body feels bad, when you're hungry, when you should have gone to the bathroom an hour ago. This is how you lose coherence. Question for you, where do I still push or ignore symptoms? Number 8, the body is the access point, not an obstacle. I think we've spoken enough now about the body to lead up into this. The body is not secondary across all of this. When it comes to time, the body creates time by moving through it. So how your body feels and how you treat it is literally giving you the time of your life. So timeline work is not mental visualization, it's physical reality navigation. And the body decides whether something is near, far, safe, too much, already mine, not yet, all these things. Number 9, sound frequency and vibration and all kinds of other sensual inputs, sensory inputs are helping you make time feel more abundant and can help you recalibrate into more coherence so that time is serving you and not delaying you or playing against you. So you can use sound, voice, all these things. You can use beauty, proportions. You can use focus points. You can use aroma. All of these things, we know that. They're treated as ways to shift emotional state. An emotional state shifts time. And now we come to the 10th one, particularly going into depth, multidimensional awareness is something that we're going to go into now a little bit deeper. Multidimensional awareness means perceiving more than one reality at once. And that sounds woo-woo. What it actually means, it's, how do I say this in very short time? So multiple realities and dimensions and timelines, and however you name it, it simply refers to the endless individual perspectives out there. Every human being is currently embodying one perspective. And multidimensional awareness just means that we can feel the other realities of other people. It doesn't matter if they're near or far, the physically nearer they are, the more we will feel them. And the mature move is not to open all filters wide, but to perceive multiplicity while staying in your essence, grounded, embodied, selective, and coherent. So this goes back to the morphic field piece that we had earlier. The field around you, you will constantly absorb the perspective of others. And as time is ubiquitous and malleable, you will also feel those in particular spaces where people had a lot of super good or super bad experiences, because it's kind of engraved into this time-space thing here. So this is why we're attracted to places that like hold enormous beauty. Or this is why we feel very moved in places where people have grieved a lot. Or why we tend to go to places where people are usually hopeful when we are not. And the multidimensional awareness is what gives us this idea, because we just sense what's out there. And we can now go a little bit into sensing and navigating parallel realities. Parallel realities are first sensed as felt possibility. This is how we feel. Like a parallel reality is nothing other than, oh, I feel something else is possible. It's not seen as visions or something. Sometimes, if you're a very visual person, we see some color or we see some symbol, but that just represents the possibility. So the signal usually arrives as some kind of expansion, contractions, warmth, nausea, pressure, brightness, aliveness, dullness, overwhelm, or a subtle yes, no in the body. And it's simply perceiving information beyond the linear mind through feeling, intuition, or subtle perception. And we call this then a parallel reality. It's not very woo-woo. It's simply a possibility coming somehow into us. We're available for possibility. And at the same time, not be like some of the most successful people in the world are really not interested in what everybody else does. And that is selective. That doesn't mean they're not interested in what everybody else does. It just looks like that. They're just very selective who they exchange with. And the body detects these timelines, these different realities, before the mind understands them. You feel the distance between here and there, basically. So a future reality feels either near, far, coherent, costly, inflated, dead, or already alive, or something like that. And the question is, why is it not fully there yet? Now we can go back into this earlier stuff that we've collected there. There must be something, some pieces in me that feel that that's not true yet. Pieces in me have a different truth than my mind or my willpower or other pieces in me. So there's an inner war going on. We're not coherent. If we were fully coherent, it would be happening right now. And if you look at some teachings of others, I'm putting Regan in there for a moment because I've worked with her a lot, and she has her own way of handling time and space and multidimensionality. But what she does really good is she says sensing parallel realities is a muscle. You can build this. She explicitly frames multidimensional awareness as something strengthened by noticing it. So you start to trust the subtle signals. Also, Tara Swart, with her book, The Signs, she teaches that as a neuroscientist and a New York Times bestseller, #1 bestseller. And for example, bleed throughs. I'm going to go in this later. When you feel like one dimension is bleeding through the other, celebrate them. And instead of forcing the mind to explain things, I think this is one of the most important things. Instead of trying desperately to understand why is it like that, just see it as a positive sign and say, great, this is happening for me. Like the amount of 111s and 444s and sequence numbers, etc. I have a very mathematical brain. I have these numbers running through my reality all day long. About, without exaggeration, 100 times a day, I see sequences or numbers in particular order. And I just know, yeah, coherence. Thank you. I don't need to understand why. It's just the way my mind makes sense of things. I don't have to find a scientific or accurate mathematical understanding. I don't even need to know what the numbers mean. You know, you can go into numerology and angel numbers and all kinds of things. Sometimes I'm curious, but a colleague of mine, big Instagrammer, he said he gave his numbers totally individual meanings, not what everybody else thinks they mean. He just decided number 5 for him means this and that in his reality. So this is what I mean. This is a muscle you can train, and you do it your own way, and there is no right and wrong. But whatever your experience is and what shows you that you're on track, that your trajectory is positive, and that life is for you and time is playing for you and you're on the right timeline, or whatever words you want to use, find your own tool and calibrate it to you. You don't need to use what everybody else is doing. You can, but you might as well individualize if it makes more sense to you. And I'm going to bring you one McGilchrist layer, Ian McGilchrist. The right hemisphere is sensing the field, and the left hemisphere names the pathway. So this is the brain hemisphere teaching. He is very renowned for. Parallel realities are not first accessed through analysis. They're accessed through that felt sense. So that's right brain hemisphere, that part of us that is culturally totally neglected. And they're perceived, these realities or these options, these possibilities are perceived as context, as atmosphere, as relational possibility, as Gestalt. to put the beautiful English word here, German word in here. And then the penetrating intelligence translates that into something. What action, structure, conversation belongs to this? But it's first right brainy. This is why it feels weird and we feel like I don't understand it. Bleed through that I mentioned earlier, it often appears as synchronicity, sudden certainty, some kind of altered atmosphere, some unexpected opportunity. Richard, you mentioned something earlier. I had an experience last week when suddenly a whole room didn't just open up for me. I had no idea it existed. It opened up, and then I was invited to actually be the voice. So I also played the room immediately. And that was like an unexpected opportunity or a moment where reality feels briefly more malleable. And then the question is what happens thereafter. That's what we would call a parallel reality bleed through or a future identity bleed through. That's just ways to describe this, to make sense of this. It's total bogus and it's very true. It's just a way of us giving it words. It's simply a glimpse of something that is a part of your bigger, more alive identity. Sensing parallel realities, to sum this up, is the body-mind field capacity to detect alternative trajectories. And before they've stabilized in out of form. So you're sensing something into beingness. And now, summing everything we've done today up, time mastery, this is something that a lot of people call it time mastery, so I'm going to stick with the term. Time mastery is not controlling time. It's becoming so coherent on the inside with your vision and your identity and your body and movement that the felt distance between the current reality and the desired reality shortens. That's time mastery. And it's all about inner coherence. So a timeline is not chosen by wishing for it. It's chosen when the vision and the belief in the body and all the things that we mentioned become coherent enough that reality has a path to follow.